Hey everybody, it's Carrie from the Bohemian Couch, and today I'm going to be making a video showing you how to create a card using part of the templates from the Mini Everlasting mini album. So this is by Genevieve Designs and I highly recommend it. It saves a ton of time. I love using these templates. I would recommend if you go ahead over there and purchase this, that you do watch the video that Genevieve has on how to make the book, because that has been such a deal breaker for me. It really has saved so much time. I don't have my book bound yet, so you can see, you know, the pages. You can just take the whole page right out right now, but I will have it bound in time. It served the purpose for today, though, because I actually have the pages pulled out to show you which templates that I used. And this is what we're going to be making. So, it is a card, and it is from the Venetian collection by Debbi. That's what I pulled the topper from, and the backing papers. The template itself is all Genevieve's designs. So, when you open it, it says, "With all my heart." I think that she is absolutely beautiful. This whole collection is stunning. Stunning and beautiful, and it goes perfectly along with these templates because of the little bit of the aged look, which you'll see in a minute. At the end of the video, I am going to be giving you an opportunity to receive this card, and I'll give you more information at the end because I'll have two by the time that I'm done, and I don't need two. So, getting started now. Like I said, this is it, Genevieve Mini Everlasting Printable Mini Album Templates. There's also another one for a full size. That's very large, and I might do something in the future with that. But for now, this is what I'm using, and I'm keeping it simple and just making a card. You can make an entire flip book with these. It's never ending what you can do with these templates. They're fantastic. So, to start, you'd go to page 12, and you'd go to page 3. Print out the mini base on page 3. Print out, the entire page will print out when you do this. On page 12, you're going to be using the mini double doors. You can see that I've already printed them on plain printer paper. So what I would normally do is just go ahead and cut along these lines right here and get that square base. And then I would go into this and I would cut, these are double doors, you cut around the exterior of it, and then you cut right down the middle, and then you have your left door and your right door. I have already cut the main base out in order to save time. So you can see the main base is right here. That's the base. These are going to be the double doors. I didn't cut down the middle because I want to show you the beauty of this template. I'll be doing that in 1 second so that you can see it. Now, for the printable, I used, you'll see right here, this is her, but this is printed on plain printer paper. This, for the actual card, I printed it on parchment paper. You can see that's the parchment paper there. Printed her on parchment paper, and then I went ahead and I cut out this one, and with all my heart. I cut around with all my heart. There's also a blank one on here where you could stamp your own sentiment if you wanted to. So, this is what it looked like after I got done cutting her out. The elements are right here. There she is, there's the little circle, and there's the sentiment that I cut out. So that's what it actually looks like printed on parchment paper. I hope that that saves some time in the video so that you can just get right on with crafting this. You don't have to watch me cutting. So, to get started, you're going to, oh, and by the way, this is the collection. This is the Venetian collection. There's 4 different collections in this. It's a USB. It's a really cool box too because it has a magnet, and that's the USB is inside. Again, that's Debbi. She's in the UK. So, my cutter is not very good, and it cuts crooked a lot because it's only going along this fine little string. I don't know if you can see that in there, but the beauty of the templates is that the lines are already there. So regardless of whether your cutter cuts crooked, you just line that string up right where you want it to cut, and it's straight every time. So I don't have to worry about it being all wonky and crooked and ridiculous. So that's that. Those are the doors, and this is the main base. Now you're going to leave them separate for right now because you have to cut the base that you're going to lay on top of this. This is going to be the mat. So I don't want to build it yet until I have these already cut. So for this card, I used the Venetian papers. Let me tell you, there are thousands and thousands of printables in this USB. It is worth its weight in gold. So the papers that I used were 22 and 9. I believe this one was 9 and this one was 22 in the Venetian collection. So what we need now, these are the templates. So if you did watch Genevieve's video, you would see you make this book up ahead of time, and there's a spot in the book, not this spot, but there's a spot in the book where you cut your templates out and you just stick them right to this. So every time you go to make a card, you just pull them off and trace over them. It is so fast. So I need 2 doors mats. This is the base, it's the main base, and these are going to be the mats that lay on top of them in brown and in green. So I need to trace each side of the door in green, and I need to trace the mat for the main base. So you'll see mat for main base option A. I need to trace one of them in green, which I'll do in 1 second. I also need to trace the doors. So these are going to then get transferred over to here. I'm going to trace the doors, and I'm going to trace a full-size base out of the brown because this is going to go on the back of the card. So I didn't want the mat. That would be an option for you if you wanted to do just the mat. You could. You see, it's smaller than this, so you would have a layered look on the back. However, I prefer to have a full-size mat, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to cut a full-size mat for that. So to get started, let me start with the outer doors. Look, I'll show you. This is getting traced to this, and that's where it's going to lay. It's going to lay right on the outer door. So you lay these down. They already have the double-sided tape on the back from when you build your album. You lay them down like this. You trace around them. Actually, I'm going to trace around this and cut it first before I do the other one. You trace. And then you just cut it out. Don't have to be perfect with this, especially if you're going to be distressing the edges, which I didn't for this card, but you can distress these edges and it gives it an absolutely beautiful look. It almost looks like a leather or like material. It's gorgeous. So you go ahead, cut this out, then we'll do another one. This one. So now I'm going to do this one. Just lay it along the edge, trace it, and cut it. It is that easy. And another beautiful part of this is that the templates all go together, so the sizes are perfect beforehand. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you go to make something like a gate card or whatever. You just follow along, put it all together, and the sizes fit perfectly together every time. When you're working on a flip book that's more intense, that's when you really see the time saved. It's pretty incredible, actually. So now we'll have the other side of the gate card. I'm going to add a little bit more into this. This time I think I'm going to do cheesecloth for this. You'll see when I get to it. I picked up some cheesecloth yesterday and I tea stained it to make it look old because I felt that the inside of this card, once I was finished, was just lacking a little bit of something. It needed something on the inside, and I thought, well, it has that aged and weathered look, so why not add something aged and weathered underneath it? So that is how that idea came about. And hold on, I'll show you the cheesecloth that I'm going to be using. There's the cheesecloth. So exciting. Now, my cutter. Again, this is going to save me a little bit of time. I'm trying to get this video done quickly so that you aren't sitting through a whole lot of cutting. That's that. Go along the bottom. Just go right along that edge. That's that. Now you have two. These are the mats. That's what gives it its finished look. And like here I have a little, is that right? I have a little bit of ink on there. Maybe I just didn't cut the line correctly. Oh, right, I didn't cut along the bottom line yet because the pen didn't trace it. So, go back in, trace along this. But again, your edges get inked, so you don't have to be too particular about how it is that you're doing this in regards to the edges. They will come out. Once they're inked, they'll come out perfectly. And there's that. So now we have the two covers for the outside of the doors. We're going to do two. Let's do the back of the main base right now. So I'm going to take the main base that I had cut out. I'm going to trace around it. Please let this be big enough, and it's not, of course not. So I already had one cut out. I think that I'll use this. I think what I'm going to do then is mat this because I don't want to take up too much time with this video. That means I have to print out a whole other one of these to get enough. So I'm going to use I already had this done. I'm just going to use it as a mat, and it's going to have that layered look that I talked about earlier in the video. So, onward and upward. This is going to be the back of the card. See? That'll be the back of the card. This will be the front of the card. These will be the gatefolds, like this. These will go on top of the gatefolds here. And now we need to cut the insides in green. 2 gates and 1 mat, because the inside I do want matted. So we're going to go back to the templates. Oh, this is the little pearl that I used. This is the bow, and this is the bow template. And this is the little pearl. The bow templates are on the same page as the printout for this. The bow templates are on page 12 of the book. So if you go there, you just go to the second bow down, and that's what this one is. So let's see if we can do this a little bit more clever this time so that we have enough space. Oh, and when you print these papers, because it's the UK, it doesn't print in full size, United States size, like 8.5 by 11. I think it's A4 or A6 or something. I think it's A4. So you can put it in your printer and you can try to do full page, but I found that you'll still get a small line around the edges. But that's okay because they're printable. You can print as many as you want. It's a beautiful thing. I'll take my little pearl off of there. And just cut right along that trace line. Like I said, easy peasy. It's so fast. Now on this, obviously on this printout, I have to cut off the edges also because of the way that it prints. But it's worth it. Believe me, it's worth it. Where would we be without our cutters? They're so fast. And now we have the inside mat. It's almost ready for assembly. This is going together a lot faster today than it did yesterday. That's the inside mat. Now we need the 2 door templates in green. I like that dark. Get that out of the way. I don't have a lot of desk space to work with. My desk is long, but it's not wide. So I find that I'm always running out of space. Someday I'm going to have the art room of my dreams. So you're just tracing along, same as the other one. cut it out. Again, you don't have to be too particular because we're going to ink these all up. I printed these off on a laser printer. I'm sure that you could get just as many good results from an inkjet printer. Just be careful not to get it wet because they run. I do have an inkjet printer, but I have very bad luck with my printers, honestly. So just trace along with your scissors. So between the Venetian video and the templates from Genevieve Designs, you really are set to go. It's like speed crafting. I love it. Love it. Now the other door, let me make sure that this is the correct door. Yes. I have to cut the edge off of that one. I'm going to try and edit this a little bit for you so that you're not sitting through unnecessary parts watching me cut. But it does give you an idea of how the templates are used. I'm telling you, I can't sing the praises of these templates enough. I also have the, I forget what the name of it is now. It'll come to me. I have another one of her templates also, and I made a flip book out of that. And it's with angels. I'm not quite finished with it, and it's really pretty. And again, you know what? Now that I think about it, I used Debbie Moore's Angel, I think it was Angels of Inspiration for that one. She's got beautiful images. And you always have them on hand because they're printable. So we just need to do that bow, and then that's done. Cut these off. Trace right along that line. I apologize for not being able to show my face in the video either. I don't have the capability to do that yet, or I'd have to keep flipping everything around and switching things all over the place, but I will soon. This is the first video that I'm uploading, so I hope that you'll be patient. Now, we have the inside and the outside is ready to assemble. So, let me move on. These lines are the score lines for the double doors. So, these are going to go, let me get my bearings straight here. These are going to go right on, let me get my scoreboard. Like I said, I don't have a lot of room. They're going to go right on the base, and then you're going to drop that mat down on top of it. So you're not going to see where the hinges connect, which is really cool too. So you're going to score right along that line, and it really is that simple. Everything is done for you. So when you're building these things, and either it's a gift or even if you wanted to sell one, any amount of time that you can save is great, because the flip books are pretty labor intense, so you know, time is an issue. So now, I've already gone ahead and put score tape on this. So you can see where I have the score tape. I'm using a bone folder to fold it. So this goes here. This is 1/4 inch score tape. Oftentimes I will use something a little bit wider, but I don't have any right now. So this is it for me. So now I'm just going to center this. Yeah. Usually I ink it before I do this, but not this time. So I have that side down. However, usually, like I said, I ink it before I do this. 2 different inks. I'm using Walnut Stain and what is this? Vintage Photo. I like this one to do the blurry edges. I like this one to do the exact edge because it almost gives it a burnt look, the walnut, which is really cool too. So there's the edges. a little tricky getting around the edges with this. You have to use an applicator to do that, which I will in a minute. And you don't have to be neat about the inking either, because a lot of this gets matted, so you don't see it. She has that aged look going along the edge, which is really cool because it's already there for you, and it also gives you your cut lines. So I'm going to move over to, I'm going to give this a try. I haven't tried it on these cards yet. Let me flip this over. This is a little brush that I got at a craft fair. I've been using this, which is the wrong thing. I should have a Tim Holtz distressing tool or stamper, whatever that is. This is like a dauber, but it's sucking all of my ink up, and I'm actually running out of ink. So this, perfect. This is really good. I'm sorry I didn't use this all along. You just dip it in the ink and rub it along the edges. Easy peasy. So now, see what I mean? I'm running out of ink. If this ink was wetter than this, I wouldn't be having this issue. I'd be having a lot more go on. And this is the lighter color. This is the vintage photo. You can go back in later too and add more ink to blend everything together, which is really nice. It gives it a really nice aged effect. That's the back. This is the front. Let's see if we can speed this up for you in the editing, because you get the picture now. You're just going around all of the edges, and you'll also do this on your matte pieces too, the ones that are going to lay on top. So these will be aged along the edges also, which then it helps it to blend in. I'm going to do this crease right here, so you can't see the crease once they're put together. So you get the idea here. I'm just going to pause this and finish up what I'm doing, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I have inked up all fronts and backs except for these little mats. You don't have to do the back. And I've gone ahead and added the score tape onto everything too in order to save time. So here's my cheesecloth, and this is a new thing that I'm doing today. I left one piece of this on here, the score tape, so you can see how I get the backing off. I use a little pokey tool. Put it under, grab it, pull it, you're done. I find it's the easiest way to work with matting because you don't have everything glued, and if your paper isn't a heavy cardstock, it can bubble when you get wet glue on it. So that's why I use that. However, I am going to go over this with some wet glue to lay the base, to lay the matting down for this piece, because I want it to stick with the cheesecloth. So here goes nothing. I thought score tape would be the best way to do this also, because I can manipulate the cheesecloth with the score tape and just stick it down, and then it'll stay where I want it to be. And it's working fabulously. Okay, I'm happy with this. Now, I'm just going to flip it over and see how I like the look of that. I'm going to cut some of this off. Maybe just a little bit more. I've also put glue on everything because I'm trying to get this done quickly. I like it. I'm going to add some glue to it. I'm only going to go around the edges because I don't want it to buckle. And just go all the way around, close to the edge. In some places that score tape is going to help it stick a little bit better also. Oh my goodness, this glue. You need some muscles. By the way, I'm using tacky glue. I'll show you the label. Okay, see? Tacky glue. I got mine at Joann's. I'm going to center it. Hold it by the very edges. Look over top. Decide if that's where you want it. And lay it down. Okay, inside mat is done. Now we can do the back. This is a pretty cool tip. If you pull the corners of your score tape up and just leave the corners up like this, oh, let me get that center piece off. You can position it without it getting actually stuck, and then you can move it if you need to. So you'll see what I mean. Now it's where I want it. I just hold it down, grab the score tape and pull it out. That is definitely a top tip because that's how I finally get things centered where I want them to be now. I used to have them wonky, but that works magically. So the inside is green. Have a little piece of score tape on each one. In the center, again, that's so that it doesn't buckle. Where did I put my pokey tool? That's so that it doesn't buckle. Oops, wrong side. I hope you can see this. Beautiful. That's down. Excuse my stained fingers. They might even be permanently stained now. I'm not sure. I do this so much that I'm always walking around with stained fingers. I used to have pretty nails, but not anymore. You can see how you have to line it up because the scallops follow each other along the edge right there. Beautiful. Now for the outside, same thing. Just pull that tape off. Pull that one off while we're at it. Flip it over. Get it right where you want it, which is basically centered. The template is slightly larger than the matting, which is what gives it that beautiful layered look. Whoops. That is right about where I want it. Okay. Okay, that's done. So the outside is done, the inside is done, the back side is done. The reason that I chose these colors is so that when it's open, this all matches. When it's open this way, this all matches. And it gives it some depth. I love the green. I love the green. I hope it captures the prettiness of it on camera. Another tip. Sometimes when you're going around edges like this, it's difficult to get to, so I use little makeup sponges. I cut them up in pieces, and I just dip them in the ink and go around the edge. That way you can get into these little corners and stuff. This is already done. Everything is already inked. Now for her, I'm going to go around the outside edge, and I'm going to put a piece of score tape on the middle. Yes, that's how I'm going to do that. You can double check that. So you add some glue around the outside edge. Actually, I might add that score tape right to the gate door so that I know I have it in the right place. I'm going to measure it to this. I'm going to lay it on that. And where is the score tape? There it is. Perfect. That's about how long I want it. That seems long. I'll cut that a little bit shorter. I'm going to lay that right on the top mat. Right about there. Pokey tool. Let's get her laid down. Voila. She's finished. Guess I could use a little more ink on the inside. So there's your cover. Now for your inside. Like I said, I already added glue to these and I already inked them up. I hope you can see that. Just going to center her right about there. And here's the sentiment. Ready to go. Oops, upside down. With all my heart. I like that. Now for embellishments. So, what I used for the embellishments were large pearls, small pearls. They are 1/4 centimeter and 1/2 centimeter, I believe. I'm in the United States. I don't usually use centimeters, but I'm pretty sure that's what they are. And I put the large, again, this is your pokey tool, priceless friend. I put the large pearls here. Whoops. And that's why your pokey tool is your best friend. Large pearl there. Here. And here. Now I use small pearls on the corners of the doors. So, small pearls are a little bit harder to work with. Bear with me. One here. One here. Here. So rounded it like this. Rounded it like this. And that gives it that little bit of flare. And then the center, I just kind of bend it in a little bit. And that's where it attaches to the card. So I'm going to take my chances. Maybe the pearls will hold this up a little bit. I'm going to glue this down. And I'm going to use tacky glue because it's heavier than regular glue. I think I'd like that right about there. This is a little embellishment that I got. I don't know where I got it, but I have a whole pack of them. So, and it looks really pretty on stuff like this, especially with the little pearls all around. It goes really well. And there's the bow. And she's finished. So pretty, right? Who wouldn't love to get this card? With all my heart. And there's a different sentiment on there also if you'd rather print a different sentiment, or you can just print off something from somewhere else or just sign it or however it is that you want to do it. But I think this is beautiful. And that's it for today. I will be making more videos and I will be using more of Genevieve's templates. Not sure which printouts or if I'll just use paper stacks that I already have. I will link everything down below. I'll link Genevieve's page and I'll link, I'll actually just put a list of all the materials that I use so that you can get started on your own card. You don't have to use Debbi Moore's printouts. If you have toppers, this is a topper, so if you have any kind of toppers on your papers that you'd like to use or whatever, you can cut them out. You can use different background papers, but this is the general idea behind how you build this card using these templates. And I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.